Saint Anthony of Padua has been called upon for centuries by those facing impossible situations, and today, this moment is yours. If your family is struggling, if financial pressures are crushing your peace, if you feel abandoned by circumstance, then this prayer is a lifeline, a direct connection to a saint whose intercession has transformed countless lives. There is something different about this prayer. It carries the weight of genuine desperation and the power of authentic faith. When you pray with Saint Anthony, you are not alone in your struggle. As a sign of our unity in faith, I invite you to write in the comments below. Share what brings you here today. Saint Anthony of Padua, intercede for us. Protect our families, restore our finances, grant us the miracle we desperately need. Amen. Before we begin, know this. Many who have prayed with Saint Anthony have witnessed changes that seemed impossible. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss a prayer that could transform your life. Turn on notifications. Share this with someone who needs it. Your support helps us reach more hearts in need. Prepare your heart now. Breathe deeply. Let the grace of Saint Anthony flow through this sacred moment. Open yourself to the miracle that is about to unfold. Let us begin the prayer dedicated to Saint Anthony of Padua. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Saint Anthony of Padua, you who stood among the poorest and most forgotten, hear me now. I come before you not with polished words, but with a heart that has grown weary from carrying what was never meant for me alone. My family fractures under pressures I cannot shield them from. My finances slip through fingers that grasp at solutions that never arrive. And in the silence of night, when everyone sleeps, I wonder if God still sees me, if He remembers the promises whispered in better days. But you know this place, don't you? You walked among those who had nothing. You held the hands of mothers who feared for their children's bread. You stood with fathers whose shoulders bent under impossible weight. You never turned away from the cry of someone drowning in circumstances beyond their control. Glorious Saint Anthony, I place before you the weight I can no longer carry alone, not as a demand, but as a confession. My family needs more than my effort can provide. Our home trembles with the fear of loss. The children sense the tension, even when we try to hide it. The bills multiply faster than solutions appear. And somewhere beneath all of this, I have begun to doubt not God, but whether He hears someone like me, someone so small in a world so vast and indifferent. Yet something in my spirit refuses to let go. Even broken, even exhausted, even afraid, I still believe that mercy exists, that intercession is real, that a saint who loved the forgotten might bend heaven's ear on behalf of one more forgotten soul. So I ask you now, not for magic, but for your presence. Stand with my family, cover us with the protection that only heaven can provide. Let your intercession reach into the spaces where my faith grows thin. Whisper to God on our behalf, not because we deserve it, but because you understand what it means to have nothing but faith. In this moment, I surrender what I cannot fix. I release the grip of my own desperation. I open my hands, empty and trembling, and I ask, let something change. Not tomorrow, not in some distant season, but let the heavens begin to move. Let mercy find us where we are. And so you release it all not because you have found solutions, but because you have found someone greater than your problems. Saint Anthony, I place into your weathered, holy hands each fracture in my home, the arguments that echo through our walls when we think no one is listening, the way my children's eyes grow distant when they sense the weight we carry, the silent tears shed in bathrooms and parked cars where no one must see the breaking. Receive this, I ask you. Hold it as you once held the forgotten, the rejected, the ones society deemed unworthy of attention. My family's fear is real. The shortage that presses against our door each month is real, but so is your intercession. So is the God who sees what happens in the darkness. I surrender the illusion that I must fix this alone. I release the grip of shame, the belief that a good parent, a faithful soul, should never find themselves here, asking for help from heaven. That grip is loosening now. My hands, which have been clenched so tightly, are beginning to open. And with this opening comes something unexpected, not yet the answer, but the permission to stop fighting the current, to stop pretending that my strength is enough. There is a relief in this confession, Saint Anthony, a strange, quiet relief in admitting that I am small, that my resources are limited, that I cannot will my family into safety through sheer determination. Our finances stretched beyond what seems possible, I entrust to divine providence, not to chance, not to luck, but to the God whose care extends to the sparrow and the lily. The debts that multiply, the income that falls short, the choices between necessities, I place these at the foot of the cross. They are no longer mine to carry alone. For my children's future, for their education, for the stability they deserve, I ask for your powerful intercession. Let them know, even in their young hearts, that they are protected, that their mother's or father's struggle is not their burden to bear, that there exists a love greater than circumstance, a provision greater than what we can see. And here, in this moment of surrender, something shifts. The weight does not disappear, but it is no longer crushing. It is held, it is witnessed. It is placed in hands that have never failed those who came to them with broken hearts. Breathe now. Let the tension in your shoulders fall away. You have spoken the truth of your struggle. You have named what you could not name before. And in that naming, in that honest surrender, the first door has opened. Saint Anthony, I place into your weathered, holy hands each fracture in my home, the arguments that echo through our walls when we think no one is listening, the way my children's eyes grow distant when they sense the weight we carry, the silent tears shed in bathrooms and parked cars where no one must see the breaking. Receive this, I ask you. Hold it as you once held the forgotten, the rejected, the one society deemed unworthy of attention. My family's fear is real. The shortage that presses against our door each month is real, but so is your intercession. So is the God who sees what happens in the darkness. I surrender the illusion that I must fix this alone. I release the grip of shame, the belief that a good parent, a faithful soul, should never find themselves here, asking for help from heaven. That grip is loosening now. My hands, which have been clenched so tightly, are beginning to open. And with this opening comes something unexpected, not yet the answer, but the permission to stop fighting the current, to stop pretending that my strength is enough. There is a relief in this confession, Saint Anthony, a strange, quiet relief in admitting that I am small, that my resources are limited, that I cannot will my family into safety through sheer determination. Our finances stretched beyond what seems possible, I entrust to divine providence, not to chance, not to luck, but to the God whose care extends to the sparrow and the lily. The debts that multiply, the income that falls short, the choices between necessities, I place these at the foot of the cross. They are no longer mine to carry alone. For my children's future, for their education, for the stability they deserve, I ask for your powerful intercession. Let them know, even in their young hearts, that they are protected, that their mother's or father's struggle is not their burden to bear, that there exists a love greater than circumstance, a provision greater than what we can see. And here, in this moment of surrender, something shifts. The weight does not disappear, but it is no longer crushing. It is held, it is witnessed. It is placed in hands that have never failed those who came to them with broken hearts. Breathe now. Let the tension in your shoulders fall away. You have spoken the truth of your struggle. You have named what you could not name before. And in that naming, in that honest surrender, the first door has opened. But there is something deeper still, isn't there? Beneath the practical needs, beneath the fear of bills and the ache of insufficient resources, there lives another wound, the one that whispers in the quiet hours. Perhaps you are not enough. Perhaps your love, your effort, your presence cannot shield those you cherish most. Perhaps you have already failed them in ways you cannot repair. This is the voice that steals sleep. This is the thought that turns your stomach when you see your child's uncertainty or hear the worry in your spouse's voice. It is not just about money. It is about whether you have what it takes to be the guardian, the provider, the rock they need. Saint Anthony, you who understood poverty not merely as empty pockets, but as the emptiness of the soul that believes itself worthless, hear me now. I confess the shame I carry. The belief that if I was stronger, wiser, more resourceful, none of this would have happened. The secret conviction that I have let down those I love most. I have rehearsed this failure in my mind 1,000 times. I have rewritten conversations, imagined different choices, wondered what I could have done differently, and in these moments of private torment, I have questioned not just my decisions but my very worth as a parent, as a provider, as someone worthy of love. This burden, too, I lay before you, not because I expect you to erase my mistakes. They are real, and some consequences are mine to bear, but because I cannot carry the weight of my own condemnation alongside everything else. The guilt is becoming its own prison. Forgive me, Father in heaven, for the times I have chosen wrong, for the moments when fear made me small, when exhaustion made me sharp, when desperation made me grasp at solutions that harmed rather than helped. Forgive me for the ways I have failed to be the presence my family needed. And yet, and this is what I struggle to believe, perhaps my brokenness is not the final word. Perhaps the God who sees all my failures also sees something I cannot see in myself. Perhaps there is a mercy that does not wait for me to become worthy of it, but reaches for me exactly as I am, flawed, afraid, and still trying. In this moment, I choose to release one more thing, the right to judge myself with the harshness I would never use toward another suffering soul. If a friend came to me carrying this weight, I would not condemn them. I would hold them. I would remind them that love is not measured by perfect provision, but by the willingness to keep showing up, keep trying, keep hoping, even when hope seems foolish. Saint Anthony, help me extend to myself the same compassion I would offer to the broken ones you served. Help me believe that my presence, imperfect as it is enough. That my love, despite its limitations, matters. That my family does not need a flawless protector, they need me, exactly as I am, turning toward heaven with them. Let something shift in how I see myself, not through false comfort or empty reassurance, but through the deep knowing that comes from standing before God with nothing left to hide. I am seen, I am known, and I am not abandoned, even in the places where I have abandoned myself. Breathe deeply now. Feel the weight of self-judgment beginning to lift, not because your struggles are small, but because you are finally allowing yourself to be held by something greater than your own capacity to fix, to earn, to prove your worth. The shame does not vanish in an instant, but in this moment, you have given it a name, you have brought it into the light, and in doing so, you have taken the first step toward freedom. And so the weight begins to shift, not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have placed them into hands that know how to hold what the world calls impossible. Saint Anthony, you who restored what was lost, you who gave back to the desperate what they believed gone forever, I ask you now to begin the work of restoration in my home. Not the false restoration of pretending nothing happened, but the deep healing that comes when broken things are held with tenderness and rebuilt with purpose. My family has been fractured. We have spoken words we cannot take back. We have turned away from each other in moments when we needed most to draw close. The trust that once felt solid has developed cracks, and I have watched those cracks widen with each passing season of struggle. But here is what I know now, what the silence has taught me. Fracture is not the same as destruction. A thing that is broken can be remade. A relationship that has grown distant can learn to recognize itself again. And a family that has been worn thin by hardship can discover a new kind of strength, not the strength of never being tested, but the strength of having been tested and choosing still to stay. Restore my family, I ask you, not to what we were. We cannot return to innocence once it is spent, but restore us to what we are becoming. People who have learned that love is not measured by the absence of struggle, but by the willingness to struggle together. Heal the words that have wounded us. Let my children hear, not the arguments that echo in their memory, but the voice of a parent who is trying. Let my spouse feel, not the resentment that has accumulated, but the recognition that we are both doing the best we know how in a situation that demands more than we possess. And let me learn to forgive myself for the ways I have failed them in these dark months, for the harshness born of exhaustion, for the distance created by despair, for the times I have been so consumed with survival that I forgot to see the people I am surviving for. Here, in this moment of asking for restoration, something unexpected happens. You realize that the first step toward healing is not waiting for circumstances to improve. It is not the arrival of money or the solving of problems. It is the decision to turn toward each other again, even though the turning is difficult, even though it requires vulnerability after months of self-protection. Saint Anthony, help me take that step. Help me speak the words that need to be spoken, not the explanations or the justifications, but the simple truth. I love you and I am sorry. I see you and I am trying. I am still here and I am not giving up. Let my family feel the presence of heaven moving through our home. Let the air between us begin to clear. Let there be moments small at first, then growing, where we remember why we chose each other, why we built this life together, why we are worth fighting for. And for our finances, I ask for the same kind of restoration, not a sudden reversal that erases the consequences of what has been, but a gradual opening of doors, a job that comes through, an opportunity that was hidden becoming visible, a way forward that we could not see before suddenly becoming clear. I release the shame of our struggle. I release the belief that financial hardship is a sign of failure. I release the grip of comparison, the constant measuring of our situation against others who seem to have more, to manage better, to suffer less. What we have is enough. Our effort is enough. Our love is enough. And what is missing, what we cannot provide through our own strength, I entrust to the God whose providence extends to the sparrow and the lilies of the field. Our children will grow up knowing that their parents loved them enough to fight for them. They will remember not the absence of things, but the presence of care. They will inherit not wealth, but the knowledge that some things cannot be bought, and the most important things, faithfulness, perseverance, love, are free. Breathe now. Feel how different this breath is from the ones that came before. It carries less weight. It moves more freely through your chest. You have named what needs to be restored. You have asked for the hands of heaven to touch what only heaven can repair. The restoration has already begun. And so the weight begins to shift, not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have placed them into hands that know how to hold what the world calls impossible. The restoration has already begun, not in the way you might measure it by bank statements or the absence of conflict, but in the deepest place where transformation actually lives, in the willingness to believe that you are worth saving, that your family is worth fighting for, that the God who sees the sparrow also sees you. Saint Anthony, you who walked among the forgotten and taught them that they were remembered, I ask you now to help me see what I have been unable to see. Not the problems, I know them too well, but the hidden graces, the small mercies that have been present all along, even in the darkness, the way my children still turn to me despite my failures, the way my spouse remains, even when staying would be easier than leaving, the way I have not yet given up, even though giving up would require so much less strength. These are the miracles I have overlooked. These are the answers that were already here, waiting for me to notice them. But there is something deeper still that calls to be healed. It is not just the broken things in my life that need mending. It is the broken thing inside me, the part that has learned to doubt its own worth, to question whether love is real when it is not wrapped in perfect circumstances, to wonder if grace is truly meant for someone like me. This is the wound beneath all the other wounds. This is why the financial struggle cuts so deep. This is why the family conflict feels like personal failure. Because somewhere along the way I began to believe that my value was measured by what I could provide, what I could control, what I could fix. And when those things slipped away, I began to slip away too. Saint Anthony helped me find myself again, not the self that was defined by productivity or success or the ability to shield those I love from pain, but the self that remains when all of that is stripped away, the soul that is loved simply because it exists, the person who is worthy of grace not because of what I have accomplished, but because I am a child of God. This is the restoration I need most. This is the healing that will ripple outward into my family, into my finances, into every broken place. I release the person I thought I needed to be. I release the standard I have held myself to, the impossible standard that says a good parent never struggles, a faithful soul never doubts, a worthy person never finds themselves in this kind of desperation. That person was a ghost. That person was never real. And the energy I have spent trying to become that ghost has been the energy that could have gone toward actually living. So I choose differently now. I choose to be real, broken, afraid, uncertain, but real. Present in my family not as a perfect provider, but as a human being who loves them. Standing before God not with excuses or explanations, but with open hands and an honest heart. And in this choice, something shifts in how I see my situation. The financial pressure is still real, the family wounds are still real, but they are no longer the measure of my worth. They are no longer proof of my failure. They are simply what is. And what is can be held, can be transformed, can become the very place where grace does its deepest work. Breathe now. Feel how different this breath is from the ones before. It carries less shame. It moves more freely through a chest that is finally beginning to relax. You have named the deepest wound. You have brought it into the light, and in doing so, you have taken the step that makes all other steps possible. Now, in this exact moment, something is shifting, not in the world around you, but in the world within you. The grip of self-condemnation is loosening. The belief that you must earn your way back to worthiness is beginning to dissolve. Heaven is not waiting for you to become perfect. Heaven is not holding back its mercy until you have fixed everything. Heaven is moving toward you exactly as you are, exhausted, broken, afraid, and still reaching out. Saint Anthony, I feel it now. The weight is not gone, but it is being held. The fear is not erased, but it is being met with something stronger. The doubt is not silenced, but it is being answered by a presence that does not need my permission to act. Your intercession is real, your presence is real, and the God who hears you is already moving on behalf of my family, my finances, my broken heart. The restoration is happening, not tomorrow, not in some distant season, but here, now, in this moment of surrender and honesty and raw faith. I receive what heaven is offering. I open myself to the grace that has been pursuing me all along. I allow myself to be loved, to be healed, to be restored, not because I have earned it, but because I am finally willing to accept it. And so you stand at the threshold of something new, not because your circumstances have transformed overnight, but because you have. The weight that pressed against your chest has found a place to rest, not gone, but held, carried, witnessed by hands that understand the cost of love. Saint Anthony, in this moment of stillness, I offer you my gratitude. Not the gratitude of someone whose prayers were answered with a magic wand, but the deeper gratitude of one who has been met, who has been seen, who has discovered that the act of turning toward heaven is itself a kind of answer. My family, fractured as it was, begins to remember itself, not through the erasure of what happened, but through the choice to turn toward each other again. The arguments that echoed through our home gave way to something quieter, a glance that holds understanding, a hand reaching across the table, a child who sleeps more peacefully because the air has changed. Our finances, stretched and straining, have not suddenly multiplied, but something in how we hold them has shifted. The fear is less sharp, the shame is less consuming. We begin to see not only what we lack, but what we have managed to preserve, what we have protected, what we have kept alive through months of scarcity. And within me, within the deepest part of me, that had begun to believe it was unworthy of love, something is waking. Not confidence born of achievement, but confidence born of being held, of being known, of standing before God exactly as I am and discovering that this is enough. The restoration is not complete. Healing never arrives all at once, like a door suddenly opening. It comes like dawn gradually, then all at once, then gradually again. There are still hard days ahead. There are still choices that will test us. There are still moments when fear will whisper its old lies. But I am no longer listening alone. Saint Anthony, you who gave back to the desperate what they believed lost forever, I see now that what you have restored in me is not primarily circumstances. It is trust. It is the ability to believe that I can be loved without earning it, that my family is worth fighting for even when the fight is long, that God's care is not a reward for the perfect, but a gift for the broken. This is the true miracle, not the sudden reversal of hardship, but the slow, steady transformation of how I hold it, how I see it, how I allow it to shape me without defining me. Remain here for a moment, in this quiet, in this peace that does not depend on everything being solved. Let your shoulders drop fully. Let your breath find its natural rhythm. You have spoken what needed to be spoken. You have surrendered what needed to be surrendered. You have opened yourself to a mercy that was pursuing you all along. The heavens are not finished with you. The God who sees the sparrow is still watching over your family. The provision that seemed impossible is still moving toward you, sometimes in ways you will recognize, sometimes in ways you will only understand later. When you look back and see the hand of grace in what once seemed like coincidence. But for now, simply rest. Rest in the knowledge that you are no longer carrying this alone. Rest in the presence of a saint who walked among the forgotten and taught them they were remembered. Rest in the love of a God whose mercy is not conditional on your worthiness, but is given freely to those who finally stop running from it. Breathe deeply. Let this peace settle into the places that have been restless for so long. Your family is held. Your finances are entrusted. Your heart is beginning to heal. You are no longer alone. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. This sacred moment has transformed you. The prayer you have just offered has already reached the throne of God, and Saint Anthony of Padua, the saint of miracles, of lost things restored, of families reunited, is interceding for you right now. Something has already shifted. You may not see it yet, but the invisible hand of divine mercy is already working in your circumstances, in your finances, in the hearts of those you love. The protection you asked for is descending. The provision you desperately needed is being arranged. The family conflicts you brought before God are being softened by His infinite compassion. This is not wishful thinking. This is the testimony of millions who have witnessed Saint Anthony's intervention in their darkest hours. Carry this light forward. Share this prayer with someone whose heart is also burdened, whose family is also struggling, whose faith also wavers in uncertainty. Your generosity in sharing becomes a channel for others' miracles. Leave your intention in the comments below. Write what you are asking God for, what you are trusting Saint Anthony to restore, and let our faith community surround you with their prayers and their presence. Like this video as a sign of your gratitude. Subscribe to our channel so that each day, when doubt creeps in, you have a sacred space waiting for you, a place where miracles are not distant dreams, but living realities. 2 paths of light are now appearing on your screen. 2 more journeys into the heart of divine intervention. 2 more opportunities to deepen your connection with the miraculous power that surrounds you. 1 video calls to you to strengthen your family bonds through prayer. The other invites you into financial breakthrough and abundance. Both are portals of transformation. Both are continuations of the grace that is already flowing through your life right now. Choose one of these sacred videos and remain in this presence of miracles, allowing Saint Anthony to lead you deeper into the restoration your soul has been longing for.